As usual, I have to check out my video to see if I can position the camera perfectly, so bear with me if you're here re-watching the video. I'm gonna just try to find it and then manage the positioning here. And here we are. Okay, so you're seeing my tools more than the area. Here we go. All right, so I've got a lot here on my table, and I'm going to try to position this so that you see my crafting instead. I think that might be a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna just wait for people to join me. This is an early crafty session here, where I'm going to be showing you a card that I'm working on, hopefully also a shaker if we get to that. I think we will. And I'll answer any questions that you guys might have regarding the items that I'm making. So I'm just gonna start here getting prepped, as we call it, and hopefully some friends can join me. My connection, by the way, is a little iffy at the moment, but I'm hoping to not have any issues this morning, God willing. I've shared this video on Instagram. However, I tried to use YouTube to share it, which was my first time ever doing that. And I've shared before that Instagram and I don't know, I think we speak different languages, but I'm using TonicStudios dies. I'm using my Shabby Valentine paper collection, and I'm going to be making a little card here. Let's see here. So, just wanted to measure this out, and I think this is gonna work well with a 5.25. Yep, 5.25 inch base. Let's see here. I'm looking at different types of measurements for cards, and 5.25 doesn't show up but 5.5 by 8.5 does show up. So maybe I should do 5.5 instead. Yeah, let's go with 5.5. Okay. Let's see here. It's not a typical card size in the US, but it can work. Although I'd be tempted to cut it smaller. Even so, that'll look pretty. Okay. Good morning, Carrie. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. It's early for me to be doing this type of video, but I have so much on my plate that I figured the earlier the better for me today. I just thought it's, you know, one of those it's now or never situations. It just dawned on me that I cut this out and there's going to be a white background, but there's this really beautiful motif that shows up here. And by the way, for this, I've used the TonicStudios Eternal Moments die set, which is so absolutely gorgeous. And it cuts either a stitched edge, like this one, for example, or you can do an embossed edge. And I'll just show you this one. This embosses this whole entire edge here. Absolutely stunning. Or you can also, let me see here, come to think of it. Okay, I've got too many thoughts running through my head. Hi, Deborah Lee. I am making a Valentine card, and I'll show you in a moment all the elements I'll be using. I'm hoping to complete a shaker and a 3D project. So, and yes, I agree. So on here, This set is just stunning. There's so much that I haven't even touched yet. But I did cut out this background element that you see here. So let me show you a close-up. Okay, so what I did here is I just cut out the background. That's it with that set. And this gorgeous detail that you see here, I cut out using a different set. And this is this set here. Let me take the yucky shiny paper out of the way here. It's called Double Decorative Header Folds. Okay, and this comes, I showed this in a previous video because it came in a bundle. Not that you have to get the bundle, but it did. I got the bundle of 3. And what's really cool is that you can use a partial element of this. You don't have to use all of the pieces. That's what I love about TonicStudios dies, is that you can mix and match. So what I did with that is that I only used this piece here. And so I just placed that right on top. As you can see, it matches there. Ran it through my machine, and now I have this gorgeous element here. But I was thinking is that, and the reason I used it is because it has a heart up here, okay? But because it's on a white background that I just folded, it's gonna get lost. So I'm just gonna grab a red piece of paper and I'm gonna cut it with the same die that I used for the base. So that way I have a bit of red popping through the back of that. And that's what I was going to grab out of this set. Yep, and that's this large one. So this is gonna be a rather large card. But you know, sometimes you want a big card. So I'm gonna set this aside for a moment. And thank God I have 1,000,001 red pieces of paper, so I could even make the card base in red, but I'm not a huge fan of this color, to be completely honest. I think it's because it saturates my vision. I don't know if I'm the only weirdo who feels that way, but so I'm only going to use a peek. It's going to be peeking out of the background. And I can't wait to show you the rest of this. And I hope you guys can see me okay. Please let me know if I should move my camera, anything like that. I'll be happy to accommodate. It's kind of hard to plan this whole, you know, positioning of the camera when you can't see. I'm just going to run this through my machine. I'm using my Anna Griffin Empress. It has a magnetic mat there, so I'll just run this through and it'll be quick and easy. Just have to move my light here for a second. Here we go. And it's off to the side here. You guys can't see it, but I just have my machine right here on my table. So if you guys could share my video or give it a thumbs up, I will be so, so thankful. I'm going to run this again because I missed a tiny little spot here. And this does have a shim. Not that you have to use it, but for some reason, it always works out much better. Alright, also has a reverse button, so that makes life easier. Okay, so I'm done with this piece. And again, that was just to get my little piece there for the peekaboo portion. Alright, now I've got my base as I mentioned before, and I'm just going to layer these two. By the way, this is part of my paper collection, and this is called Shabby Valentine. This particular paper is called Pretty Little Leaves. So as you can see, it's very delicate. It's got a kind of like a dusty blue background, and then all of these delicate little leaves and little berries that you could use really for any occasion. It's not Valentine specific, but I figured it would be something good to add. And I'm just going to layer these two here. And I did print this out in nice heavy cardstock. And it worked out wonderfully. So that's another, you know, it's kind of a benefit of the digital papers, is that then you get to select the weight of paper that you actually want it to be printed on. Because let's face it, we sometimes get these gorgeous papers that we buy in a store in a stack, or, and I know all of us have gone through this, where you buy a paper pack because there's that one beautiful paper you really like, And then it turns out that the weight of that particular paper is not what you want or need, if you know what I'm saying. But I like nice substantial cards. And the layering helps, even if the base isn't very heavy. Just layering on top will make it nice. So I hope you ladies are having a fantastic Tuesday morning. Sound like I'm plugging the store, but I'm not. We jokingly call Tuesday morning Friday night. It's for time there. That's what my husband and I were doing. He'd be like, "Where do you want to go, honey?" "Tuesday morning." Okay. All right, there's that. Okay, by the way, this does come with an edge, so I'm gonna cut that again, and let me show you what that looks like, because I had a little bit of an idea here. And if you see, depending on how you want to place this, you don't have to put the border very close to that little detailed edge. You can put it wherever you like, depending on, you know, what you're going for. I'm trying to think here of how I'm going to use this. So I have the grid in the background, as you can tell, on my table here. So I'm going to take advantage of that to try to line this up instead of giving myself a headache in terms of placement. And we all know in crafting, the machines can move our stuff, so washi tape comes in handy, of which I should have more right over here. I'm going to try to, okay. So I hope you guys can stick with me. I don't know how many of you saw my last live video. Carrie, were you able to watch a snippet of that? I think you did. There's a reason I'm asking. Okay, so by the way, this is just a piece of vellum. I'm cutting this one first with that very decorative die. And as I cut that, here's another layer that I'll be using. This is another piece of my paper collection called Heart Daisies. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so did you get to see the 3D phone that I was making? These are the other elements that I'll be using today, so I'm just going to put them here aside for a second. And I'm going to gingerly, very gently remove this because I don't want to tear the vellum. There are different thicknesses of vellum, and this one in particular is on the thinner side. And I do want to be careful with it, so there we go. Now, as I peel this away, you'll be able to see how beautifully that cut out. Oh, thank you so much. I could show you the finished piece. So I don't know if you can see here the detail on that, but it's absolutely perfect. And of course you could layer that as a third layer there, but that's not how I intend to use it today. I just put it there so that you could see that every little piece of that cut out. And I try to make it a habit to just go ahead and take as much of that off my plate as I can here, because it does get kind of embedded in there. Not that it's a huge deal, but I'm going to run this again, only this time, let me cut away. Hello, Beverly. I know. We're on the same boat, sweetheart. I forced myself. I was like, I am not a morning person whatsoever, but a girl's got to get to work, you know? All right, I said my die was over here. So you're going to hear my voice like, it sounds like a squeaky wheel. But that's me in the morning. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. All right, this is super delicate, so I'm going to see if this works. I think it will. For what I'm envisioning, I'm hoping it works. So I'm just going to run this through. Beverly, you're awesome, by the way. I was listening to your live video yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I hope she doesn't think I'm being rude, but I'm not going to be able to really, you know, I'm typically the one that chats so much that I end up taking over the chat. Only because I'm like, la, 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 talking to everyone. But yesterday I was like, oh gosh, I hope she doesn't think that I'm being rude, because I wasn't chatting a lot, and it was because I was crafting and my hands were full of gesso. They were sticky. I had ink and mousse all over the place. So, but it was lovely to listen to you in the background. So I was like, yay, I'm so glad she's crafting. So you kept me company. All of that to say, you kept me company, and I appreciate it. So yeah, sometimes I will click on a video and I might not even get an opportunity to say hello, but it doesn't mean that I'm not supporting, you know, and I think that goes for everyone. It happens to all of us, you know. Sometimes you're laid up in bed or whatever, you're not feeling too well, but you watch one of your friends and it makes life a whole lot better. All right, so here's what I did, and that might look a little weird, but there's a method to my madness, I promise you. I wanted to score this. Now, whether or not it will work is a whole other, as we say in Puerto Rico, 20 pesos, which means it's another 20 bucks, but we'll give it a try anyway. I'm just scoring it here, and I'm going to fold, and that wasn't straight. I did not score that straight. Hold on, let me give this a try. I have to gauge it by the die cut, not by the paper. Okay, let's give this another try here. And of course I'm trying to be gentle because I don't want to rip this paper, but I don't know, whatever. It might be a little crooked. Have to practice forgiveness of yourself when you craft. All right, and I wanted to fold this like so. Hi, Aretha, welcome. Okay, because what I'm doing here is that I'm layering. So here's my second layer, and this is going to be askew. It's not going to be straight on because I want this to show. And this is my third layer. What I did here is that I used a stamp set. Here's a stamp set, and this is called Sweet Favorites stamp set from Daisy May. I used that because it matched I was able to match, of course, what I'm working on here. And by the way, I have a coupon code for you for Craftstash, and that is, let me get it for you guys real quick. Before I forget, I just have to go into my email. And I should have had that, but it'll take me just a second because I do want to give that to you guys. And it's only for the exclusive Craftstash brands. So if you've not shopped from Craftstash USA, there's a beautiful, beautiful collection of items. And I think, let me see here. Bear with me, guys. I do want to get that coupon for you guys. I have to search. And I get so many emails that I apologize that they're not always like, at my hands here. I know that I have it. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm trying to find it here so that you guys can have it. Okay. I know that I have it. Let's see here. And I apologize. Oopsie. That I should have had that for you guys before I started my video, but Okay, I'm not seeing it at the moment, and I do apologize. What I'll do is that a little later on, I'll grab it because I know that I have, yes, I'm trying to find the link, Bev, and it's on another video. Hi, Sam. Good morning, doll. I believe I put it in, as a matter of fact, I think I have it in my last video, guys. So let me just read it to you. It'll be easier. The coupon code is, okay, I found it. Sorry, guys. E as in Echo XL35, okay? So that should still be working, EXL35. So, thank you for hanging in there with me, guys. I'm so sorry. EXL30. As I said, I'm not a morning person, but here we are. I typed it in there for you. Okay, so in any case, I went ahead and colored in that image, as you can see there. And what I did is that I used Nuvo drops to enhance the coloring that I did because I wanted this to really pop. So there's dimension to this, there's glimmer to it, and it also has that stunning color because whenever you do alcohol coloring, you get a really good vibrant result when you're doing that, and that helps out. Oh, yeah, Beverly, this is an older set, but this particular brand, Daisy May, is on sale, okay? Now, I also colored this piece here, which I showed you on an older card that I made, but this is the little chocolate box. Let me show you like this. And I did stamp that out on my paper and then was able to color it. Thank you, Sam. I was able to color it to match. So all I did was color the little chocolates, and I topped them off with Nuvo drops to make them glimmery. And it's hard to see on camera, but the effect is there. And I'm also going to be using, by the way, this tag is also from Daisy May Designs. Okay, this is still available at Craftstash. And it gives that little tattered edge. I absolutely love this collection. And what I did here is that I debossed into it using that TonicStudios die I showed in the beginning. And it says live, laugh, love. So now what I'll do is go back in there with a little glimmer pen and just go into that debossed area and follow that up. It's almost like, you know, tracing, if you will. And of course, what you could do is take a little bit of an ink dauber and go over it if this is not something that you like to do. And it'll cast a shadow. And as a matter of fact, I might do that with an alcohol marker. Although I should have done that first so that I don't get glimmer on the marker. So I might have to refrain from it, but I think, okay. Yeah, I do need to cast a little bit of a shadow on that, so I think what I can do is grab a little sponge here. And I'm going to grab some ink, and I will do, let's see here, I'll do a little bit of broken china. This is Ranger Broken China, and it's just going to be the lightest little dab. Like, I always compare it to makeup inevitably, but I'm just going to dab it on here really gently because it's going to make this little sentiment pop. Otherwise, it would disappear into the background because it is white cardstock. And it's okay if it looks like, you know, a little smudge of ink on the edges there. That just adds to it, I think. You know, it is a crafty item. It's not a logo or anything like that. Okay, so I'm being very, very gentle. And in fact, I could wet this little sponge because that is oxide ink and make it even lighter. And this is just an inexpensive makeup sponge kind of thing, you know, that they sell at the dollar store or whatever. Because this is an oxide ink, it reacts almost like a watercolor, so you can wet it and kind of extend it also a little bit. Give it a little vibrancy. So this is just casting in the lightest little shadow there. Okay, so let me put that away. All right, let me show you the very subtle effect. So it's now going to say live, laugh, love, if you can pronounce that. And I have a delay on my phone, so I am not seeing what you guys see, but I promise you it's there, and I hope it's visible. It's just a tiny bit of a shadow there now. So the vellum piece that I wanted to use would be here for almost like a little tabletop effect. So I'm going to look at this from my perspective to see how that works. I think it will. And I'm going to start gluing all of this down. So let's begin with this piece here. Don't need a ton of adhesive, but just enough to get that on this card. So I hope that you guys are all doing well. And once I finish this card, I'm going to show you guys the finished phone. I know you guys saw a picture of it, but I'm going to place this askew, as I mentioned before. I love putting layers on my cards. And I'm going to show you how this paper looks different on that other project because of what I added to it also. So this is just going to go a little bit lower here. And I hope you guys are seeing everything. Then I've got my little tag. To this tag, I'm going to add another element from that same die collection. And it cuts like so. It's actually a little tab. And what I did is that I precisely placed the dies so that the little tab would have one of the little hearts on it, as well as the layering pieces, which you could use either a circle or a flower. That's up to you. And that's just, again, to add a little more interest here, because at the end is when I go in with my Nuvo products and make everything pop, you know? So this is just going to go here on the edge of this tag. So I'm going to use hot glue for that. And it is shorter on one end and longer on the other, in case you're interested in that. But this is such an adorable little element that you can add. So if you can tell, I haven't yet glued the tag, but I'm going in with the little elements that I want to pop on there. I'm going to make the little heart here 3D. So I'm just going to add some hot glue, and of course you could use your little pop dots instead. And I apologize for my nails, but woohoo baby. As I said, I was working with gesso yesterday, and gesso destroys my nails because they're not what do you call that? Gel or acrylic. So my nail polish was completely destroyed last night. I was like, oh my gosh, all that work for nothing. But that's how it goes. All right, this, had I let it cool off a little longer, wouldn't have sunk in. But what I do is I pull on it. Come on, baby. I'll pull on it so that I get the 3D effect. And there we go. And it'll dry as if I had put foam underneath it. Okay? So a little tip, if you have really, really hot glue, just let it cool off for a moment before you stick it down. And this is going to go here. And this is going to be my little table, what do you call that? The, oh my gosh, there's a name for it. The table thing. Oh goodness. I was thinking of adding a little pop here of color as well. But I also have this little jar that I made. If you see this, it's got little hearts on it. And what I did is I layered paper on here in white and in pink. I put a piece of twine and I used acetate instead of paper, and so that gave me a see-through little jar. And then on the back of this, as you can see here, I put a ton of glitter on there, which you can't see from the front, all that gorgeous shine, but it's okay. It's got paste in there and everything, and it's just a cute little jar that I could add to my card. So that's going to go on here as a little decorative element. So that's why I was kind of like, do I add the rickrack? I think it'd be cute, but I don't know if it's necessary. Although more is more, right? So let's just glue it and stop thinking. All right. So I'm going to add this here. And this, I believe, came from, it might have come from the dollar store. This red rickrack. I like to get items that are meant to be for Christmas. Actually, I'm going to use hot glue. They're meant to be for Christmas, but you can use them for Valentine's Day or whatever. So I'm just going to add the glue here. And this might look a little reckless, but this is how I craft. Okay, here we go. And now that I have it where I want that there, I will cut away what I don't need. Okay. So I'm going to use these scissors because this is meant to emulate the table topper or the table cloth. That's the word I was looking for, tablecloth. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, so this is going to go here. It'll be a little bit askew, but it's going to look cute. And I suppose I should have cut away that one little piece there, but that's okay. It's just going to go right here, like that. And then I just need a little drop of glue back here to hold that down. Okay. And that gives it a little, excuse me, a little bit more. Oh gosh, Beverly, are you serious? They had extended it. All right, then what I'll do is I'll reach out to them and try to get a new one, Beverly. So my apologies to you. That should have worked because I got a message saying that they extended it. So I'm not sure what the heck is going on after all that fuss. Oh, so frustrating. All right, there's my little jar of love. And then I'm going to place, last but not least, and I know I'm going to be covering a lot of that vellum, but maybe off to the side here. No, that's too far away. I like to bundle my stuff here. I'm just going to place this here at the bottom. And okay. Some days, try as you might. Things just go crazy. And okay, here we go. Now I have to ask you guys, those of you who are here, and I apologize for my voice, as I said, it might sound croaky. How many of you have ever shopped at Craftstash? Have you ever used the links or just separately on your own? Excuse me, I just had to take a little drink there. Et voila, there's my little card, by the way. And what I'll do now, of course, is I had already done my elements separately off camera. I had done the little jar, the little candy box there, and the stamping and coloring here. But that's what I recommend when you want to make a card of this sort, is that you do your coloring one day, maybe you're cutting the next day, etc., etc. Make your embellishments on a different day, and that way you have something to pull from when you go to make a card, and it makes life a whole lot easier. Because this little jar here I made a long time ago, and I still had one left. I had given some away, etc. Okay, so Beverly, yeah, I get you, girlfriend. And Maureen, hi, Maureen. Oh, yeah, this is an older one, and I wish it was, you know, brand spanking new, but I do that traditionally when it with my crafting. And well, welcome, darling. Is I try to mix old with new because not everyone has, you know, the latest and greatest of things. Like, for instance, this little jar here. Let me show you that die. This is an older one. Matter of fact, I think I might have it over here. This is from Craft Consortium. No, no, what's it called? I can't remember. Now that's when I need an assistant. I have this die set somewhere around here, and I set it aside to show it to you guys. Do you think I can find it now? I literally put it aside. I was like, I'm going to show them this, and I'm going to show them that. Yeah, now it just up and walked away, I guess. In any case, it's an older die set. It's not new. But if you look at the companies that come out with product, they repeat. It's, you know, cyclical. They come back again and again. So you'll be able to find a different jar die set, whether it be from TonicStudios, Sizzix, Craftstash, or whatever. Here it is. I found it. Is this it? Hold on a second. Yeah, I found it. I'm not crazy. I promise you I'm not. Thank you, Maureen. So this is Crafter's Companion. That's the word I couldn't think of. That's the little jar that I used. And I wanted to give you guys samples of different, you know, dies that you could use to create something similar. Then I also have this other one here. And I've used this in the past. And this is the one by Sizzix. And this was exclusive to Hobby Lobby. I'm almost positive you can still get this from Hobby Lobby. And of course, that's if they haven't sold out in your area. But you might be able to get it on hobbylobby.com. And that makes a gorgeous little jar. And as I craft, I will mix and match every single one of these to come up with what I want to make, as well as other items. Oops. Just be careful with these dies, guys. Make sure if you do buy these Sizzix ones, because the bits and pieces are so tiny, that you use a magnet right away. I recommend that because, let me tell you, they're so small. You have the Sizzix one. Okay, then for this, all you would need would be the base. And it doesn't come, I don't think, does it come with this part? No, it doesn't come with the little frilly thingy here. I don't know what that's called, the topper, but you could use ribbon and place it on there. So case in point, let me show you, actually before I get ahead of myself, let me show you the finished phone thing. Here it is. I'm looking all over the place. Here she is in all her glory, finished up with all the pearls and all the bling that I added. So for those of you who didn't get to catch that video, that was my last live that I did. And I was showing you guys my paper collection and showing you this 3D project. So I hope you guys can see all of it. And then I added little elements. By the way, Beverly, I sent you, because you purchased the file, I sent you the one that has the words there. So you should have that. Thank you so much. And guys, this will fit a mini album. So I think that would be so stinking cute in there. Okay, so enough of that. Let's make a jar. Or would you rather me make the 3D coffee cup? Because that was the other one I was going to make today. I'll let you guys choose. I have the elements here for a coffee cup, and I have the, actually I have quite a bit here. The coffee cup would be maybe a little bit easier. I don't know. I've never made this particular one. Awesome. Yes, Beverly, I want to see it. You have to post pictures. I think I'm going to go with the coffee cup, guys, just because it's sitting here. Now, I made this with my Cameo, and it's kind of interesting how this cut out. So we're going to see both. Okay, all right, then let's start with this one. So this is just the base of the coffee cup, by the way. And what's really awesome about digital paper cutters, and this is something I mentioned in my previous video as well, so if you weren't there, then you're going to get the preaching today. That's how I say it. You can get if you have a computer and you have a printer, a home printer, you can get Silhouette Design Studio at home. You do not need to own the actual Cameo machine. And you can still do something like this. Now, this is part of the paper collection I just released. And what I did was that I uploaded this design, which otherwise, I know I have my papers and they're right here. Here we go. Okay, so otherwise you would just, you know, print them out in a sheet like this, which I showed before. You're going to get all of these. You're going to get these elements. Okay, and then you can print it out as big as this. In fact, I think I designed this so that even if you had an A4 size sheet of paper, you could print it at that size. What pound card? This is probably, in this particular case, because I'm just doing a demo, this is either 80 pound or maybe 65 pound. It's a between there. I didn't make this super sturdy, but all of these are at least, yeah, I want to say they're at least 80 pound cardstock because it's substantial. It's not, I don't think I buy anything thinner than that, but these are all the papers for those of you who may not have seen them. Some of these are meant to be a horizontal perspective, okay? And then the rest are portrait. I just printed that one twice. And let's see, what else? You get also a freebie, which is the little snowman that I designed holding a banner. And the banner is made with all of the paper collection there, just little samples there. So here's the coffee cup. And what I did was, as I mentioned before, I used that digital image to fill in that shape. And now I have my own custom little coffee cup with my design there, which is a lot of fun because, you know, you can imagine how far you can go with that. So I'm just going to put some adhesive here. But for 3D items, since Beverly just asked, for 3D items, I do recommend the heaviest cardstock you can afford. Now, having said that, it really depends on what you're going to make, because mini albums are a whole other formula. For a mini album, I would only print the cover of the actual book in that really heavy cardstock. The rest, you should refrain from doing so because it's going to crack, okay? Particularly the spine, because that gets so much movement. So here I'm just going to follow the score lines, and the Cameo cuts the score lines like little dashes, which is different from the Cricut. The Cricut will use the score stylus to score the 3D items, and then the Cameo just cuts right into the paper. So you do what you prefer. Okay. All right, so now I already have adhesive there on the bottom. I already took away the liner. So now it's just a matter of lining up my little angles. And because this is not particularly a rounded cup, then I'm not going to try to force this to move in any way. If it were something with a dome, I would grab my bone folder and I would train the paper first and then start my assembly. Okay. You want to get an album from me? Well, Beverly, I'm gonna see. Okay, so this is kind of a touchy subject. And here's why. All right, so I sell mini albums, but I have promised myself that I will not again make custom mini albums, only because of the amount of time that it takes to make one, and because I've had people back out on me after they've asked for the moon, stars, and the sun, right? So to spare myself emotional distress, I told myself, never again, you know, that sort of thing. I was like, I will only ever make finished product and sell that. And I've done that, and it's been successful. I've done that on Etsy, and I'm really happy with the results of that. But here's what ends up happening. I will sell a finished product, and the person gets it in their hand, and they're like, oh, I love it. Can you make it like this? And then there goes the other, you know, the rigmarole of, can you make a custom one? All right, so I cut these too big, so that's not going to help. I thought that that was the base. Why did I? Oh, okay. That, guys, I have no idea what this is for. I thought this was the base. I don't know why. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. Oh, okay. All right, so okay, you don't want a custom one, Beverly, I love you, and I would kiss you and hug you right now if you were in front of me, if you don't want a custom one. God bless you, sweetheart. That makes my day. All right, I have actually, well, what style do you like? Because I actually have one at the moment that I'd be happy to sell, and it is a very shabby chic. In fact, I made it for Renee Bouquets. And it's just, I looked at it when my mother was here. I was like, you know what? As much as I love looking at this because I made it or whatever, and it was fun to make, it's just not my style. So I should probably sell it. But yeah, Beverly, I'll send you pictures because it's not listed on Etsy as of this particular moment. But if I, you know, get around to making more albums, because I was asked to make, I think, 2 more around Christmas time. And guess what, guys? I had to decline because I got sick. How fun is that? All right, I'm just adding glue here to these little tabs that I folded. And Aretha asked, which machine do I prefer, Cricut or Cameo? They are both great machines depending on what you want to use them for. If you are interested in learning the design aspect of crafting, Cameo, hands down. If you just want to plug and play and you don't want to think about files, you don't want to learn about files, you're not interested in that world of digital, you know, media and whatever, then Cricut is a way to go, because in reality, it's going to do everything that you need it to do. It's just, okay, so my first Cricut machine was that little baby machine, I don't know if you guys can remember that, or if you know about the product, but years and years ago, they came up with that little machine, and you would plug the cartridges and, you know, get them in there, and your cutting mat was only 6 inches wide, and you could only do so much. And the company had not really invested in the digital aspect of things. They were just buying files, grouping them in a cartridge, and selling them at $80 a pop, mind you. Then they came up with the Gypsy, and the Gypsy was supposed to be this amazing little tool. It looked like a little Nintendo Switch or whatever they're called. And the gist of that was you could group them and move them around and weld them. That was about it. And you still have yours, Maureen? Yeah. And, you know, depending, as I said before, depending on what you want to make, that could be enough. You don't have to get the latest and greatest. Oops. But if you're like me and you're not satisfied with just that, and this, I don't know what happened here, guys. I don't think this cut right because it's, that's a hot mess. I don't think I'm going to use that. Let's go with this one. And I don't know why that even cut out, but it's looking weird. I don't know if this was designed properly, and I don't mean to be hating on anyone, but it's just not right. Because math is math, y'all, and this seems off. I might have to move on to my shaker. I don't think this is going to work. Anyway, when it comes to design of, you know, 99.9% of the designs in Cameo are flawless. And you can, of course, get the business edition, which is what I was going to get at. You can get the business edition and make your own, which is what I've done. I don't even know what this is, but it doesn't seem right. It's got a cut line that doesn't match the angle, and I don't know why they did that. Mamma mia, this isn't gonna work. I'm looking at this, guys, and something happened. I don't know if this file was corrupt. But this ain't no Starbucks, I'll tell you that right now. I don't even know. It's humorous, but it's kind of sad at the same time because I don't think this is going to work. And you have the gypsy. Yes, I kept my gypsy. You know why? Because I thought at some point this is going to end up in a museum. I'm going to have one. I'm going to be that lady, that 80-year-old lady with her gypsy going, yeah, it's going on eBay for $100. No, actually, I kept it for sentimental reasons because I used to be part of the beta group and I was that girl sending feedback to Cricut saying, no, this needs to be better. We're not dumb. Just because you made this machine doesn't mean we don't want to do more. Please add more specs, you know. And I would fiddle with the machine. I would try to make it do certain things. And what I realized was, okay, number one, these files were protected. They were not meant to be fiddled with. They were just meant to be, as I said before, plug and play. But of course, I wasn't satisfied. I wanted to do more. And then this beautiful young lady that I met through this crafty venture, she gifted me the Cameo. So I was blessed by a lovely young woman who was watching my videos and said, I want to learn from you. And I taught her a few things on what she could do. And mind you, this was like one-on-one teaching. This was not, oh, I was going to, you know, do a VR or anything like that. It was one-on-one teaching. And she was able to start a side hustle that turned into something else and all that, which was so lovely. But as a thank you, she sent me a Cameo, and I was blown away. I was like, wait a minute, what? You just gave me what? And we've become friends, you know, and we keep in touch still. And I've never seen her in person, mind you. We've only ever met through the internet. Guys, I promise you I'm not trying to make this to be more difficult than it should be. I really do think that there's something wrong with this design. I don't know. Like, it's just not making sense. Maybe, hold on a second. I'm pretty sure it's probably my fault. I'm gonna undo this right quick. I'm trying to think of the shape that this would be, and I'm trying to think, like, is this supposed to be, like, valley fold? I don't even know. Since I'm chatting. Valley fold, and then, no, it can't be like that. It's looking like a dead octopus. Oh my gosh. So yeah, and I realize now you guys can't see what I'm doing. I was trying to fold this in the opposite manner because I swear it's off. It's just not looking right. So my coffee cup's probably not going to have a lid because this one didn't work out either. I think it was off. Like the lines were off. So I have to take a look at that file to see what happened there. Because it's just not going to work. I don't know. I'm gonna keep on trying, guys. Sorry. I don't give up that easily. I'm going to keep on trying. I'm trying to follow the angles here. So yeah, along with that came a lot of learning though, because I ended up getting the business edition of the Cameo program there and learning so much through that. And it's still a work in progress, as you can tell. I mean, this is not my file though. I didn't create this. This is just a file that I bought off of Silhouette America. And I'm going to try to find out who designed this. And I'm not going to say anything rude or anything like that. I just really want to find out what happened there. Yep, because this is like, if you've ever been in the military and you had to travel somewhere and they just handed you this little cup of coffee and said, go, this is what this is looking like. Oh, no, I can't do it. It's a hot mess. That's as far as I got on that, guys, with the tabs that was provided by this file. So guess what? This is going to be an open cup. I'm moving on. No worries, Maureen. Be blessed, sweetheart, and thank you for stopping by. Yeah, okay, so this was supposed to be this spectacular cup with a spectacular straw and a spectacular top. But because something happened with that file, and I didn't know about it till just now, I'm going to have to reject that and move on. And I had all these little hearts to stick on there and all that good stuff. Oh, ain't life just a process of humility, isn't it? All right. Moving aside. Let's do a jar. Now this one was, again, I had printed out the little snowman that was included with the file that I'm selling. Shameless plug again. So what I did was that I cut them out with the die set that I have, and pardon that, my little kitty cat was in here. I added little gems there to the background, and I added also little Nuvo drops just to give it a little extra shine, and I placed them inside of here. On the background, what I did was I cut vellum, and I also cut out the perimeter there of that die cut so that the vellum would have something to stick to. And then using the two dies together again, I was able to cut the foam. So now I can make this into a shaker. Cutting the top, I used acetate, and I actually put these Nuvo glitter drops on here, and I let that dry. So now when I close this off, it's going to look like there's a little bit of snow in there, as well as whatever little items I sprinkle into that, right? And then I can top it off with something pretty up here. So I'll probably use just this little piece of paper, and I'm going to cut that off real quick while I'm thinking about it. And this is just a set that I got off of, I think it was Amazon, if you're curious about that. So I'm just going to do this. So I'm sorry for, I apologize profusely for wasting your time with that ridiculous cup. Oh my gosh, seriously. It gets so frustrating sometimes to do these things when you're counting on something to work and it doesn't. Oh, mamma mia. All right, let me put this aside. And all I did here was cut off what I know I'm going to place here on the top to cover this element here, okay? So I'm just going to cut away what I don't need. And I'm just going to eyeball this. Like so. I think that'll do. Like that. All right. So that's going to go on top here. And this does have a protective layer here that I'll peel away in a minute. I'm first going to add glue here. And I'm going to use my Nuvo adhesive because this dries clear, even though this is a white foam. But I can again cut, I forgot, yeah, I'm going to cut this again, guys. Woohoo. All right. So a little bit of this goes a long way also, in case you haven't used this type of adhesive. And while that's getting tacky, no worries, Maureen. Oh, you didn't miss nothing, sweetheart. That stupid cup didn't work. Pardon my language. But that darn thing didn't even work. It's a corrupt file or something. I don't even know. It's the first time that's ever happened to me. The lid was a hot mess. The base was a hot mess. So don't worry about it, sweetheart. Just like that little boy says. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. All right, so I'm just adding a little sequins here. These are, by the way, Nuvo sequins. Nuvo, yeah, they're both Nuvo sequins. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Very simple. Doesn't have to be crazy. This is going to be a sweet little shaker because I want that image to be seen. These are Diamond Pure Sheen sequins from Nuvo. And I also use the Rainbow Quartz Triangles. And these are holographic. These are more like iridescent, if I had to describe those two. Okay, guys? Yeah, I should have gotten the Tonic die set for the cup, but foolish me, I didn't do that. I tried to use the Cameo, and I don't know who made that file, but I'm going to have to write them a little email and say, sweetheart, you need to double check that file. Either that or the machine went crazy for a second. I don't know. I have no idea how that happened. All right, so I'm just lining this up as best as I can. You have to always bear in mind that the foam will cut a tiny bit differently than any other material, just because foam has that tendency to warp and stretch. But this is the extent of that. I'm going to let that dry, and while this is drying, I'm going to get the other elements that are going to go on here. Okay, and it's going to be the liner that I'm going to put on top. For that, I'm going to get, let's just use this piece of paper. This is one of the print-offs that I did of my paper collection, but I wasn't 100% thrilled with it because it's supposed to be sharper than this, but we'll use it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep it in the correct perspective here. And I need about 5 1/4 inches of this, so I'll go with that. And then I'll need 4 inches. So we'll go with that. And you know what? I would call it is that just to piggyback on what Beverly just said, it's just that, you know, after using, like I mentioned, after being part of the beta group of Cricut, after using those machines and all of that, and all of a sudden being introduced to die cutting, I ended up doing design team work for certain stores that were, you know, showcasing dies and things like that. And I'm still doing that for a couple of different stores. But like for instance, I'll showcase the ones for Coca-Rosa. And I try to be very, very honest as to, okay, what did I find with this die set? You know, how did it work and all of that? And I mentioned that in the videos. But at the end of the day, if I have to choose a favorite, I always go back to TonicStudios because I'm yet to ever be disappointed. And if you get a one-off thing that maybe that didn't work, they replace the item. They make, you know, They make amends, they back up their product and all that good stuff. So here you see, I'm just going to put this here on top. There was this little piece that came off, but I'm going to actually add it back there. Before I do that, I'm going to remove the plastic liner that I mentioned this has. And I try to make sure that this is adhered 100% before I start going crazy with that. So bear with me. I think I'm going to open a new bottle. It's like that new car smell when you open a new bottle of glue, if you're anything like me. There we go. Because my hands are weak. And I put too much, but it's going to seep out the right way, which is up top. All right. And I do have to apply a little bit of pressure there. Normally I would put an acrylic block and just walk away from this, but it should dry quickly enough. And if you didn't want to bother with this type of material, guys, you could also do it with tulle, and you probably already know that. But that's what I did with the foam booth. I made it a shaker top, and it is all done with tulle. All right, so now this will reveal that nice, clear, see-through, shiny top. Okay, pressing, pressing, pressing. And while that's drying, I will add this element here to finish off my edge, make it pretty. And I'm just going on the perimeter of that again, trying not to put too much. Just like that. Line it up. And if a little bit of that white shows from the foam, it's okay. It doesn't mean you goofed up. It is, after all, a shaker. Sam says, love the Nuvo glue. Used to get it at a local mom and pop scrapbook store. They have not been able to stock it for months. Yes. Actually, Sam, now that you say that, Tonic has their Nuvo drops as a bundle sale right now, and they might have the glue. That is something that I try to keep an eye out all the time for, is that as soon as they do a bundle offer, in fact, I think they have 3 bottles of this for $16 right now and change at the Tonic site. So my links, of course, are in the description bar of this video. But yeah, that's a good way to get it, is when they do the bundle offers, for sure. Because it's top notch. As you can see, I mean, I'm not struggling to get this to stick. And this is acetate onto foam, and then paper onto acetate. And as soon as this dries, this is good to go. It's not, no problems there. And I like to remove the little diamond top and then store it like that, top side down there, so that way I can get to my glue quicker. So I just do that, and then I use that in a project. That's all. Or I stick it on my Empress. So my little Empress is looking like a gaudy chick from a music video because she's covered in little diamonds. To this, I wanted to add, just to show Beverly, oh, you're very welcome, darling. To show Beverly that if you don't have that die with a little frilly top, you can make your own. I'm going to grab some ribbon that I have here. Let me see. Actually, I had grabbed the gingham. I think this would be pretty too. Well, maybe I could do both. We'll see, we'll see. And there's a lot of blue in this image because I picked from the papers that I have the blue snowflake, but there, I do have that snowflake paper in pink as well. Okay, so here's what, yeah, I think I'm gonna do both. And this is a little bit of fiddly work, but I think it's worth it. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start at one end here. Let me zoom in, guys. Hopefully you can see a little bit better. And as I said before, I have a delay. Art glitter glue. Yes, girlfriend, I'm with you on that. All right, so let me move to this direction so you guys can see. I have that. It's right here. See? And I've got the needle and all that jazz. They all have their pros and cons, just like the machines. It's the same thing. They all have their little pros and cons. I'm folding this on itself. And this is grosgrain ribbon. Grosgrain ribbon is see-through, but when you pleat it, it looks so adorable. So I'm going to start at one end. I'm just going to add my little glue there. Okay, and then I'm going to pull it back on itself, and that's going to create the pleat. So first I'll put the glue, and then the fold. And if you're going to use this method and you learned it here, all I ask is that you give me credit for it. Tell people about it. Glue and ribbon and fold. It's kind of like exercise. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Glue, ribbon, fold. Glue, ribbon, fold. Glue. Place down your ribbon. And the reason you're doing it like this is because you want to follow the arch of the die cut, and this is the easiest way to do it. It's going to fold back on itself again, and because this is such thin ribbon, the glue, the hot glue is still there. It makes it super easy to stick it down. Yeah, actually, yes, Tamika knows how to do this because she also knows how to sew. We both have that background of having learned to sew. And yeah, so this is the same thing that the machine would do if you have a pleating pedal, or foot, I'm sorry. If you have a pleating foot on your sewing machine, this is what it does. It gathers your ribbon like that. But I learned to do this as a child by hand, sewing by hand. So my mother used to make all sorts of things. So ribbon down, fold back, and pleat. And then this also allows you to make the pleat as thick as you want. You can do tons of ruffles. I mean, it's so stinking cute. And then you cut away what you don't need. Voila. And now to make this end pretty, you don't want to fold it over this way, because if you do, it's going to contradict all the other pleats. You want to fold it underneath, okay? And yes, it's a little fiddly, but girlfriend, that's life. That's just how it goes. What I do is I try to cut it at the length that I know I'm going to need to fold back, and you can always cut off a little bit more, whatever, you know. Cut it a little bit shorter if you need to. And then, again, apply the glue. Don't make it too hard on yourself. At this point, I'm going to grab it this way because I'm left-handed. I'm just folding it in on itself and then following the glue because I already knew that the glue was in the right place. Boom. Done. All right. Thank you. Thank you, darling. Now, because I said I was going to use both, the idea here is that I'm going to follow it up with this one, so that way we don't see that unsightly fold line there. And This I'll probably double up because this ribbon is quite thin and I want it to be more of an opaque finish. But another way to get around that is to tie it and do, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Yep. All right, so I'm just going to apply my glue at the back here and grab my little ribbon, place it on there, and then follow these little guys. I'm gonna just place the tiniest little drop here of glue to allow this to lay where it needs to go. So now I'm gonna pull on this and tack it down like so. And the strings are always, you know, free. So I'm gonna try not to go crazy about that though. I'll take them off once it's complete. Just gonna finish it off over here. And then cut away what I don't need. All right, there's that. And I can, of course, make a little bow, because why not? So I will make my little double bow here. All right. Using my fingers. I hope, and I apologize if I was out of frame there, guys, but I'm just making a little bow here. Like that, okay? And to this bow, I'm going to add, let's see here, add a number of things, but can still fiddle with it to make sure the little bow bits here are the same size, if you know what I mean. I kind of try to make the loops the same size. It, you know, it doesn't have to be, but as much as you can gather it. And that's just by pulling on them, that's all. All right, so that can go right on top here now. Okay. So you pick the side you like the most. That's what I always recommend. That's why this ribbon that's kind of double-sided is always fun to use. It makes life a whole lot easier. Now I'm going to grab a piece of thread. She's always extra, right? And I like to use embroidery floss. And I have, oopsie, I grabbed the wrong needle there. I think that was a nail. Ay, ay, ay. I think this one will work. Okay. Thank you, sweetie. So I'm just going to grab a piece of this floss that I have on the side of my table here. And I hope this works because of the size of the eye of the needle. Yeah, this is, let me see here. This is rather small. I think I need a bigger one. So I'm going to feed this through here. Let's see if it works. Sometimes I use washi tape to get my thread through the eye of a needle. So I just fold the washi tape on itself. And I know this is, you know, a little extra, but then you can cut it to a little very sharp point. And if you're blind like me, this helps out because then it's just a matter of feeding that sharp point instead of the thread. So if you see that, that helps feed through your floss. And I'm just going to grab a little heart charm that I have here. And I'm going to feed the charm. Nope, that's too small. Can't do the charm. Let's see if I can do a bell. I have little jingle bells. So if the needle will go through the bell, we'll do that. Yep. All right, so let's do a couple of those. Yay, yay for lefties. All right, so I'm just feeding, see, each one of these is different. It's so bizarre. You can get so many elements that are supposedly exactly the same. And guess what, guys? It doesn't always work that way. But in any case, I'm just feeding these little bells through here. That's all I've done is string 2 bells on a piece of thread. Like that. And once those are there, what I'll do is cut away what I don't need here. And I left it quite long on purpose, just to make life easier. Okay. That is going to get fed through my little bow center. And again, this is a needle, so it'll make it a whole lot easier. And what I want to make sure is that I hold on to the opposite end so that my little bells don't go flying. That's why I made this so long. All right, now that I fed that through, I can take off the needle, so I don't need that any longer. And I'm going to get those little bells centered onto the middle of the bow and tie a little knot, and that's it. So I can pull on this because I don't need it to be so long. And I just do a little square knot, so it's over, tie, and then over in the opposite direction and tie. So that gives you a nice little knot, like so. And you can leave this on there if you want to because it does match. So that's a personal preference. I'll just cut it a little bit shorter. And now I can place it right here in the center of my little jar. So I'll place the glue down and place the little bow on here. And that'll keep these little guys loose. I got my little tails. I'll direct those before this dries. And I've got myself a adorable little shaker there. And of course you can keep adding to this. You can layer on top of it because the whole bottom here is kind of, you know, open. So depending on how you end up using this, you can keep adding and adding and adding. Okay? Now to show you this paper, the one with the hearts that I was mentioning, on this box what I did is that I followed it through with stickles, and that allowed those little hearts to really pop because it added another color on top that was bright and shiny. So you see the difference there? Much brighter. And that's something that, of course, you could do here. You just go wherever the print is and follow it through with a shiny stickle. But I love the way that it looks on the acetate. So let me do a close-up so that you guys can see. And I apologize again because I do have a delay on my phone. So I'm just waiting to see if I'm in frame here. There you go. You get to see a bit of that shine. And then those little sequins are just there, you know, for fun. But I really love the results of that. And now this can go either on top of a card or the cover of an album. How cute would it look on the cover of a little album inside of here? That would be so stinking cute because it would fit. Let me see. Yes, indeed, it would. Ooh, temptation. I might just have to do that. And I know Beverly was saying I should make a mini album for that. So aside from that, I was going to show you guys that I've been making stacks of envelopes because Barely Arts Glue has put forth the challenge of making cards for their cards for Cubs. And that is a challenge that they've put forth so that you can send in the cards that you make. Whether it be, right now they're looking for encouragement cards and happy birthday cards because that's what they need the most. And what they do is that they've grouped with several different foster care organizations, and those cards will go to the foster children. So I was wanting to mention that because a lot of us have the envelope punch board. So I started there. It just so happens that I have a stack of red paper. I mentioned before, I kind of shy away from using red because it's just not my color. So I took a bunch of these papers, I cut them down, and I made myself my envelopes first to challenge myself to fill these envelopes. So let's go ahead. And the reason I made 10, by the way, is not because I only intend on sharing 10, it's because they want you to bundle the cards in groups of 10. Okay, guys? So let's go ahead and I'm going to grab the paper here. This is what I had set aside. And, all right, here we go. So I've got a nice, pretty colored paper, and got my base. And then out of all of the pieces that I have here, I can go ahead and grab the one that says, let's see here, I've got happy birthday right here. So let's go ahead and cut that out because that's what they're asking for. Happy birthday. All right. And this is, yet again, a TonicStudios die. Surprise, surprise. But I like that, you know, it's a simple little sentiment, and you can get a bundle here and there and have all your little sentiments ready for when you need them. So for this, what I will do is that I will cut this out and I like to measure out the base, of course, so that I give myself plenty of room. And I know Beverly's been doing this where you're making the stacks of cards ahead of time, and I think it's such a great idea. I think this is going to fit this way, yes. Okay, and these, of course, will be much simpler than the card that I showed earlier. This doesn't need to have a ton of frills. As a matter of fact, my cards are going to be 4 by 6. So let me cut this down like so. And the perspective of this won't matter whatsoever. Just want to make sure that I have 4 by 6 pieces here. Let me cut away this edge in white. Okay. And then I'll cut this down to a little less than 6. Or was it 5? 4 by 5. Double checking here, guys. this is 4 by 6. Yeah, it is 4 by 6. All right. Double guessing here. Okay, so there's one base. As I said before, it won't matter which perspective it's in. And that one's probably going to have a little white border, but that's okay. There's the second one. And then this one here, I will cut down for the base of the card. So it's got to be, let's see here, 12 or 8 by 6. Sorry about that. I'm going to cut this down with my other paper cutter. All right, because this one doesn't fit 8 inches in one way. I don't know. I'm unable to read it. But let's go ahead and fold this in half. Get my base. Okay. And on here, just to keep things really simple, what I was thinking is to go ahead and just use one die. That's all, just one die. And all I'm going to do is repeat it a couple times here. So I was thinking how to make a card that's super simple but yet fun to look at, because just because it's a simple card doesn't mean it has to be boring. So I'm just going to repeat this again here. And one more time here. All right, so now I used that 3 times. This is going to be my base here. Okay. I'm just going to cut off a tiny sliver off of one end here. And I still have to cut the sentiment, so I'll do that next. So just under 4 inches there, just so that there's room. Straighten it off a bit. And then I'll do the sentiment, the happy birthday. That's the spare one, this one. Okay, like so. In fact, this can be the background and the happy birthday can go on top. So let me do that with a different color, maybe the same. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to see how it looks with the stripes, although I kind of think something shinier would work. Let me see here. I'm trying to think of something shiny to put on there. Okay, here we go. I've got this shiny pearlescent card, and I think this is going to look a whole lot better. So So let me just do this one for the sentiment. 2 inches here. Okay. And that'll be shiny card on red, like that. Okay. Got it. This one slipped on me a little bit, but it still cut perfectly. Woohoo! All right, that makes me happy. All right, so I've got my little sentiment, and this is gonna go right on the base here of the little shadow. And of course, you could do all of your cutting at once. That's what I would recommend, and that's more than likely what I'm gonna be doing, is just cutting all of my sentiments in one go, all of the shadows in one go, you know, all of the bases. It'll be more of a, what do you call that? Assembly line work. But in any case, just to get myself started here, I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back of my hand and spread it like it's lotion. Then put my little die cut and just pat it down. This way I get the glue only where I need it there. And this will go right on top. Just line it up. It's got that pretty shiny white on that matte red paper, but it'll stand out. Woo. And of course, if you have any stickers laying about, this is a great way to use those up. So we'll dig into that. Just trying to make sure I line this up perfectly. And I think I need more glue, so let's go ahead and do that. Are y'all still with me? I hope I didn't put y'all to sleep. I don't see any comments, so I'm guessing you guys are probably working in the background. Okay. Just a little dab will do you with this. And it does dry clear, so if you do see any of that white glue, if you grab the Nuvo glue, don't be too frightened. It'll dry clear. Okay, so I got a little bit of excess there, but that's okay. Just need one more little letter because I really don't want these popping off at all. All right, there's that. While that's drying, let's get to working on the rest of this card. Awesome. Oh, good morning, Crafty Stamper 2. Yes. Barely art. Yeah, that's a great point, Deborah, and thank you for bringing that up, that the Barely Art glue does not solidify in the cold climates. So if you live in areas like I do, you can still shop for it in the wintertime, whereas the Art Glitter glue will not ship. Because once it gets below freezing level, they can't send it to you. So yeah, you're absolutely right with that. And thank you for pointing that out. Crafty Stamper, tell me your first name, darling. Okay, so we have our base here. And guys, when I get glue everywhere, I try to keep a baby wipe on hand, because I inevitably end up transferring some of that to the paper, and that gets on my nerves. Okay, but if that happens, you can also let it dry and then put your rubber eraser to work. Okay, guys? Here, I just wiped it real quick. All right, so here what I want to do is that I want to place my little happy birthday on here. Although, trying to think if I should go in this perspective. No, I like it better like this. And what I wanted to do was to kind of place these with a different color behind them. So let's do that. and offset that same circle. Annette, so Annette, welcome, welcome. I don't know if I've seen you here before, but, oh, thank you so much. Yes, oh, and by the way, Christian from Christian's Crafty Adventures, she has a coupon code for the Barely Arts, guys, okay? So, if you want to grab the Nuvo, I have links for that, but if you prefer the other, that's okay too. You know, it's up to you. Right now, Tonic has a bundle of Nuvo on sale. Also excellent adhesive, but you do you, okay? As we like to say. In these here pots, you do you. Whatever makes you happy. All right, one more little circle. So you're gonna see this is a very, very simple background, and I mean simple because I tend to make more elaborate cards, but as you can tell, all I've done is use one die cut. That's it. I mean two with the sentiment, but you know what I mean. So what I'm going to do here is that before I even place these circles on there, I'm just gonna put them next to each other like askew. Oh, well, thank you, sweetheart. And I do apologize. I mean no offense if I forgot. I'm going to put my glue here, like so, only on 2 of them. I'll let that cool down a second. Or, of course, you can use foam. Foam squares, whatever you fancy. So if you prefer the little foam squares, you can use like 1 or 2, because I'm trying to keep this very simple just to demonstrate if you want to do this sort of thing to send, because you don't want to make them too crazy, okay? Just because this is, you know, you're going to be making bunches of them. And guys, I inevitably put my fingers in hot glue. It's almost like the bee to honey. I cannot keep my fingers out of hot glue. I just can't. It's physically impossible. Oh gosh. All right. So I'm just going to do that. Okay. I want that to stay. And all I'm doing is casting a little bit of a shadow there with that red paper underneath. Okay, guys. I'm going to do the same thing over here, but not so, you know, popped up. That's why I was doing the hot glue instead of the these guys, because they're so dimensional. Yes, that's a wonderful idea, Annette. Absolutely. Because this little tip comes off. In fact, let me show you on this one. This comes right off. So if you have the syringe, you can fill the bottle with whatever adhesive you like, which is probably what I'm going to do with the rest of this, is just recycle this particular bottle. Because again, you can also, you know, store it tip down, and that helps a lot too. All right, so this one I'm gonna just do this. Again, just creating a tiny bit of a shadow there. And then the last one I'm gonna leave flat because that's where I'm gonna place my sentiment. And I probably should not have wiped that with a baby wipe. But what I'm also going to do here is on that red, I am going to let's see here. Sorry guys, I was just thinking. I'm going to add a little bit of glimmer, but I'm going to do just the tiniest bit here of this pen. This is called Jelly Roll pen. I'm just following what I cut there, or the stitch lines, I'm sorry, of the die, of what the die cut. I'm just tracing them. That's it. And then I wipe away a bit. I'll do the same thing here. And it just creates that nice little shiny touch to that paper. And again, this is optional, of course, because if you're doing assembly cutting, assembly coloring, then you do however much you want. This one I'm going to keep entirely flat. I'm not going to bother with the dimension, but I am going to, again, place it askew on purpose. And now the idea behind this is that I'm going to line up the little circles here, but they're all going to be slightly different, okay? And that's just for visual interest, all right? Like this one, actually, this one I'm going to put on top because it's the most popped out one that I did, the most dimensional. This one's only slightly dimensional, all right? So you see what where I'm going with that? I'll place these back on there and they fit perfectly because that's exactly where the cutout came from. Only now I'm putting red, I'm gonna do it this way, inside of where the striped paper was. And it's like a little puzzle piece. So if you have children or grandchildren and you want them to help you make these cards, they could totally do that. Hi, Elizabeth. Good morning, doll. This is a morning crafty session. Making simple cards to send out to the Barely Arts challenge for the cards for Cubs. All right. I kind of goofed on my paper there, but I'll more than likely be remaking it and just not, you know, ruining the paper, of course, as I did. But there's one sample, and then on this you could add the, thank you, you could add the little stickers, and again, they only want kind of neutral, can be given to anyone type of cards with happy birthday or encouragement sentiments, okay? So I think stickers would work out really well for this kind of challenge. Let me see here. I've got so much that has to do, like I was even thinking of these kind of dollar store stickers. See what I mean? They make such quick embellishments, but there's so much pink in this that I was thinking, oh, I don't know if, you know, a boy would be happy to receive something like that. But my son wears, you know, red and pink, and he's a dude, so I don't think he would even care, to be honest. All right, so there's that one. Just put a little pair of Converse on that. And then I already have my envelope ready, so it's like one and done. And it's an obvious happy birthday card, but there's my one card done, and I can move on to the next. I want to make sure that I grab, guys, I have a stack of papers over here. I'm just trying to make sure that I grab the correct papers for this. Okay, so let's make one more. He's a dude, yeah. Yes, we like, gosh, there are so many inside jokes that we have in this family because there's a movie, and I don't recall who even made the movie, but the kid, it's, oh my gosh, something about burgers. And I tell my friends, you know, I grew up with boy humor because I have brothers. And I had also, so I grew up with two brothers and ended up having two sons because God has a sense of humor. So, I have very boyish sense of humor, I guess is what I could say. Or a very boyish sense of humor. Let's do another happy birthday again. So there are things that seem hysterical to me that I know that other women are like, what? Why do you find that funny? And I'm like, I can't explain it any other way than boy humor. In fact, the other day my girlfriend was here with her little boys and they were saying things and she's like, please stop. And I'm telling her, leave them be. I think they're hysterical. I actually enjoy, you know, hearing them laugh about the things that make them laugh. because it doesn't bother me whatsoever. I think I cut this in the wrong, yeah, I did. Guys, I cut it in the wrong color. This is what I need to cut in red. So I'm gonna pair it up with another piece of this because why not? Of the stickers. Hello, Eileen. I see. Oh. Oh. Groceries. Wait, yeah, because it's the 1st, right? Y'all are doing some adulting today? I'm avoiding that. No adulting for me today. No, no, no. Actually, in a way, I am. In a way. I'm taking care of the foster children before I do my bills. How's that? I want to get my, you know, game plan in place. You know what I mean? Do what I have to do before I do what I want to do. And I know that I had challenged myself to do these 10 cards. So I was like, you know what? Have at it, girlfriend. Make it part of your video that you're going to show anyway, because you're plugging your product anyway. Because yesterday I got something in the mail that I'll be demoing in a few days. I'm going to be patient and just do it when I want to. And I was listening to Beverly as she's doing her live. Yes, I go to grown up life kicking and screaming the whole way, sweetheart. I'm like, no, no. It's been so long. You know, okay, so I know I'm being random, but I don't care. This is who I am. You know when you're a kid and you just can't wait to be an adult? At least I know I was one of those. Oh, when I grow up, I'm going to do whatever the heck I want. Nobody's going to tell me I have to do this and blah, 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 right? Because in my case, I was the only Hispanic female, or the only female in a Hispanic household growing up. And that meant I had a lot of work to do all the time. And yes, I said that. And yes, if my mother watches this, I'm still going to say it. It's like, oh, you're a señorita. You need to do this. You need to do that. So I think I've been a grown-up since I was like 4. Hello. So my childhood ended very swiftly and nobody announced it. It just happened. So I'm like, no, I've been an adult way too long. I need to go back to my childhood. Yes, we all think that way. You're given a responsibility and it's like, no, why? I just want to be a child. I just want to play. I want to play with my friends. So every now and then, I should say, I take a day off and I go, no, I refuse. Like even last night, I was taking off my nail polish because I had ruined my hands with gesso and stuff. And my husband walks in from having worked and he likes to dim the lights in the living room because it relaxes him and all that. And I had the full blast on lights really bright. And he's like, oh my gosh, these lights, turn it down. I go, you can't tell me what to do. I'm like, you're not the boss of me. Oh gosh. But that's the only, the only pushback I get to do. My son just sits there laughing. Oh, no, my lights. They're my lights and I'll do what I want. I'm like, that's as adult-ish as I get to be in my own household. I should have put this back here. Guys, just to let you know, do as I say, not as I do. I could have been cutting 2 pieces of paper all along just by layering that. Duh. But you learn as you go, right? So let me move that out of the way. I already did this same card style. I'm just going to repeat it and add a sticker like I just did before. And hopefully not ruin it. Yeah, my husband, I call him Mucaro, which means Mucaro in English is owl. because he prefers the dark and, you know, everything. Furniture, dark furniture, you know, lights, dark room. 50 candles, but it's still, you can't see. I'm like, like, what the heck? This is not a seance. This is my living room. Turn the lights on. Oh, yeah. Oh, Sam. Oh, my gosh. I can so relate. I can so relate. Yeah, I told him, yeah, I keep forgetting I lived under a rock till I met you. No, you know what my biggest threat is? And he knows, I can say this because my husband knows my sense of humor and all that, so I'm not being disrespectful in any way when I share these things online. What I say is, you know, well, first of all, I'm in a biracial relationship, which adds an entirely different dimension, I think, to the way we talk each other. Because if anyone else heard us, they'd be like, are they racist or do they love each other? But that's just how we joke around. So, you know, I have little names for my husband that I mean, I won't share here because I think people might cancel me. But I'll just say to him, you know, you keep talking, sweetheart, keep talking. And he starts to giggle, you know. And then I tell him, one of these days I'm just going to show up at your job and I'm going to start pointing and telling you what to do. Just randomly. See how you like it. And he just laughs. But, you know. I'm like, yep, you're the king of this castle. Go on. Keep telling yourself that. But I do. I defer to him and I do show him respect. I do not disrespect my husband. I won't. It's just, I don't find it to be cute or humorous when a woman is all nasty to her husband just because she can be. To me, that's just, ugh. Nothing, you know, bothers me more than seeing that in relationships because I know what it's like, and it's, you know, it should never be like a laugh at the expense of that person. It should be something that also makes them laugh, you know. And we joke around a lot with each other, you know, because he makes his Puerto Rican jokes all day long. So I'm like, and if he weren't my husband, you know, I wouldn't put up with it. Maybe. I don't know, but I know he doesn't mean anything nasty about it. See, he loves my Puerto Rican family, and they love him back. But humor is so important, I think. At the end of the day, if you can't laugh, there's something's off. So I'm just gonna do my little glue thing. I showed how you could do it on the back of your hand, of course, but I'm just gonna lightly touch this here. Yeah, and as a last resort, I'll just start speaking Spanish to him and then he can't understand what I say anyway. So that's always fun. He's like, I think you're swearing at me or something. I don't know. And I'm like, no, I'm not. It's just I can make anything sound very, very menacing if I just say it with the right accent and the right rolls of my R's. That's all. I could be saying pass the salt and it sounds like I'm gonna kill you in your sleep. Gosh, how did this conversation turn into this, guys? I was talking about foster children and crafting. Why does this happen? Oh, yes, you too, Eileen. God bless you, sweetie. Thank you for stopping by. All right, I have my happy birthday. And as I did before, I'll do the little squares. Let's make it neat this time instead of sticking my fingers in hot glue, right? It'll be nice and neat like those other crafters that I see on YouTube that somehow manage to make a card without burning themselves. And I'll put this one here. Oops, nope, the other way. Over here. And then I guess I'll do the same here. Where's that other? I already put it away. Just one little square on that one. like that again. And my last one with just the adhesive. And also showing that little bit of shine. Okay. So my happy birthday is going to go here at the bottom. So that needs the flattest little element here so it doesn't compete with that. And again, putting the red piece in, leaving that stripe piece to kind of layer on top. And obviously topsy-turvy because of the directional element there of the paper. This is the next one. And then one more up here. Oh, hello, Carolyn. Carolyn, I saw you left me a message, so Happy New Year to you also. And I do apologize I didn't respond. I saw it way, way, way late. Because we were all sick in this household and I was nursing myself back to health. So I was MIA for most of January. Okay, so there's the little happy birthday sentiment. And there's that. And of course, to make it stand out now, let's see. We could do the little Dachshund. Let's see here. There's so many cute little things. I can't believe I found this at the dollar store, by the way. This is from probably last year. I think it's been sitting around for a while. So let's do the poodle. No, wait. Should I do the poodle? Hold on. I think the poodle's cute. It's supposed to be gender neutral, but whatever. I think we've decided we're not following that rule. I don't know. Let's go ahead and do the little bone. Oh my gosh, the little bone with a bow. Are you kidding me? How stinking cute is that? So there's that. Although I think she should be a little bit farther out because her little tail is kind of hindering that pop-up portion there. I don't know. Whatever. Tail's hiding. I don't know. The placement is a little bit weird, but yes. And I appreciate that, Beverly. Thank you for keeping tabs on me. So I'm always like, what if I disappear? No one will notice. All right, let's do the, okay, so this was the first one. Same card, different sticker, simple, quick and easy. And this is the second one, as you can tell. It's the same elements, you know. But it's already 10:30 and I've been here for, that means at least an hour and a half. So for my health and well-being, I cannot stay on video even though I want to. So I'm going to just do a quick recap. I will not show you the failure of a cup that I made, but I'll show you the rest. I highly encourage you to do the card challenge. I'm probably just going to sit here for a while cutting papers and getting everything ready to make at least 10 today. But here's the shaker that we made on this video using my little snowman digital file that is, by the way, free when you purchase my digital file, Shabby Valentine. Here's another card that I made using the same paper collection and, of course, other little elements from my stash. Thank you, Carolyn. And so in this one, as you can see, I pulled out more of the red from the collection because there's very little, you know, touches of red in it. But if you like red, you can definitely incorporate that into what you make. All right. So there's those two. And I also showed you guys the box that I made in my last video. And this is also using the same paper collection. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you so much. We made this one in this video. I had already cut out and stamped and colored. Everything is just, you know, I just kept adding to it a little bit more. But in my last live video, I shared this phone, which I made using Christian's tutorial. Guys, I'm so sorry. This is when I know I need to stop, is when I can't even talk. So I used her tutorial, and the paper collection is on Etsy. Here's some of the other paper, which, by the way, is multilingual. So if you like making projects that have more than one language, as I do, I tried to accommodate that. And I think, was that all? Yeah, because I didn't get to make my other 3D project because that was an abject failure. But again, I remind you to please go to to Barely Arts so that you can participate in creating cards for foster children. That would be absolutely phenomenal. And they want them in bundles of 10. They want them to be gender neutral and either happy birthday or encouragement. So I know a lot of you love making that sort of thing. And as you could tell, I mean, just using one die, you could do it. You know, stickers, done. So yeah, I appreciate you guys having been here with me. I know that I came on earlier than I normally do, but I had to get this done. And I wanted to share with you guys. So a link for, okay, let me get you the Barely Arts, yes. Barely Arts, okay. Bear with me, sweetie. Because they have an entire, okay, no. This phone betrays me. Here we go. Oh, nope. Here we go. They have an entire flyer, if you will. It's called #Cards for Cubs. So that's what you want to put on social media when you make them. You do have to register. So let me give you the link. Oh, you're so welcome, Elizabeth. So there's the link, okay? And what Christian was asking us to do was to sign up with her group. So I'm going to actually contact her because I think she's doing it as part of PHA, which I don't have all of the details on that. But for sure, you know, I think it would be a wonderful challenge. They have to be in by March 31st. So what you want to make sure you do is that you create your little bundles, put them in a box to ship, and make sure you get that box out in time. I don't know. A la orden, con mucho cariño. You want to make sure you get those out there so that, you know, there's time for shipping. So I'm guessing, today's the 1st, I'm guessing that for the next maybe 2 weeks at the most, make the cards. And, you know, maybe ship them out by the 15th at the latest or something like that, just to give yourself a window of arrival, if you will. Just because we know the USPS here in the United States does a bang-on job on getting things on time. You're right. And yes, I said that. Oh, gosh. But my passive-aggressive side, you know, pushed aside. Still, you know, you want things to get there on time. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Capiche? Yes. Me comprenden, amigas. All right. So, yeah, I'm going to end this here. And I do thank you all for your support. It means the world to me when you use my links, support my channel, all that good stuff. And by all means, if this does not appeal to you, there's so much more out there, including... And those of you who are here, you probably already know that also Carolyn, who's Tea Time and Dolls, if her name is new to you, she has shabby chic paper collections that are absolutely stunning. So you may want to use that if that's something that, you know, you want to incorporate into your crafting. I'm trying to think. I don't know if, yeah, for the Barely Arts Challenge, you know, what I was going to do, and this is what I'm going to be looking at next, is the piles of papers that I have left from other paper collections that are older that I know I'm not going to use for my, you know, video demos and things like that. You know, to just cut a bunch of those small and then use that as my card bases. You know what I mean? So yes, Carolyn does. So please support her as well. She has gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Not just papers, but her digitals, her files. And I would show you the latest one that I did, but it was actually a gift and I mailed it out. Oh, yeah, so beautiful. It was the house that she made. Absolutely stunning. Okay. Yes, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, God bless you. And as I always say, be inspired and be blessed. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope to see you in my next video and hopefully share some more product that I will be demonstrating to you guys that I just got in the mail yesterday. Okay. Ciao, ciao. Thank you again. I'm going to reach as I always do and hopefully find my button. Boop.